Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my first ever dedicated book haul video and I'm really excited. Now, I haven't done one of these before because I don't usually buy that many books in a go. I usually buy 4 or 5 books at a time. I read them. I don't need to do a haul because you see them in my wrap up at the end of the month or in a TBR. But a few things happened in the last 6 weeks or so and I've acquired quite a few physical books. So I thought I would do a haul and show you what I've got. And I am not buying any more books until these have been read, in theory. But yeah, this is a real random mix of stuff, so let's just get on in and see what I got. So I went to the book barn a couple of weeks ago with the boys. Charlie bought some books, I donated a load of books, and then I also bought a load of books. For you, those of you that don't know, the book barn is this huge warehouse filled with used books. The adult books are £1 and the kids books are 50p, and it's basically book lovers paradise. So yeah, I've got quite a few from there. Yeah, the first one from there was Sam Bourne, The Last Testament. Now, as you know, I'm usually quite rigid with my TBR and I use it as a reading list, but when I went to the book barn I just grabbed anything that looked interesting. So this could be really hit and miss, and this is one of those random picks. I don't really know a massive amount about this. I've never heard of the author before. I don't think I've read anything by them. It's got kind of Da Vinci Code vibes. It's something to do with the back says, an Iraqi boy loots an ancient clay tablet from a long forgotten vault in the Baghdad Museum of Antiquities. At a rally signing for the signing of a historical deal between Israel and the Palestinians, an assassin pushes through the crowd towards the Israeli Prime Minister's. Bodyguards shoot the man dead, but in his hand there is no gun, only a bloodstained note. So I think it's going to be kind of political intrigue, maybe a bit of religious stuff mixed in. I don't know, we'll find out. Let me know if you've read that and if it was any good. Next, I got another random pick from the book barn, which is Stone Cold by CJ Box. Again, I don't think I've read anything by this author before. It doesn't ring a bell. And it's some sort of crime mystery thriller. It's got a cool cover, and it says on the back, everything about the man is a mystery, and that was enough for me to grab it for 50p. No, for £1. Another one that I grabbed from the book barn was The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I've heard loads of people talk about this here on Booktube. It's had mixed reviews, so I'm kind of intrigued to see where I sit on that scale, but for £1, like, how can you go wrong? And I think it's like a survival story. We've got 7-year-old Wen and her parents Eric and Andrew are vacationing at a remote cabin on a quiet New Hampshire lake with their closest neighbours more than 2 miles in either direction. And then basically one day a group of strangers show up and say that the end of the world is happening, and it's that thing of, is it happening or is it just paranoia? What's going on? So it's fairly short and yeah, I was intrigued, so I grabbed that. Another one from the book barn, which wasn't a random one, this was actually on my TBR, was On Chesil Beach by Ian McEwan. I did actually read this about 8 or 9 years ago, I think. And I don't think I was ready to read it. It's literary fiction about a young married couple on their first night together, and what happens to them and the consequences of that night. It's been made into a film recently, starring, I think it's Saoirse Ronan. It stars, which is why I added it back onto my DVR, because I remembered that I'd enjoyed it, or sort of enjoyed it. It's one of those books that I'm not sure if you enjoy it or appreciate is probably the right word. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, amazing, because I'd literally just added it to my TBR, so it was handy, and it's a really nice addition as well. I'm not a big fan of like film, movie like covers for books, so I was quite pleased to find this. Next, I've got one that's been on my shelf for a while, and for some reason I haven't been picking it up, but I'm going to read it in June, and that is Educated by Tara Westover. This is Tara's autobiography all about growing up inside an end of days group. So her parents thought the end of the world was coming, and about her basically educating herself and getting herself out of that situation, I think. I've heard, again, mixed reviews of it, but I'm trying to read one non-fiction book a month, so I'm going to pick this up for June. It's got, again, a nice cover. I bought it kind of on a whim in Waterstones a while ago. I had to go and get Mythos by Stephen Fry for the winner of my 100 sub competition, which is what they'd picked, and it was on 2 for 1 or whatever it is that they do in Waterstones, a deal in there, and this was next to it, so I just grabbed it on a whim. So I will give this a go and report back. Next is a book that my lovely friend Amy from Very Much So lent me, and that is Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. This has been shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and actually I don't know what it's about. It's tiny, and Amy found it in a charity shop for £1, which is amazing given that it's a hardback and it's nominated, so it's everywhere at the moment. But anyway, let's read together. So it says, teenage Sylvie and her parents are living in a hut in Northumberland as an exercise in experimental archaeology. Her father is a difficult man obsessed with imagining and reenacting the harshness of Iron Age life. Haunting Sylvie's narrative is the story of a bog girl, a young woman sacrificed by those closest to her, and the landscape both keeps and reveals the secrets of the past, secrets of past violence and ritual as the summer builds to a harrowing climax. So, yeah, literary fiction looks really interesting. Another one that Amy very kindly lent me is one that I'm really excited to read, and that is The Familiars by Stacey Halls. First of all, look at that cover. It is stunning, and the end pages as well. When I met up with Amy, we met up a couple of weeks ago on my lunch break, and she brought her 3-year-old Athena with her, and I was chatting to Thea and saying, oh, what's this? And she very rightly said, a picture. So, yep, can't really argue with that. She's a smart cookie. Anyway, I'm very excited to read this. I've heard quite a bit about it. I think it's about the witch trials. No, it's complete rubbish. Oh yeah, no, it is. It's about witchcraft and the witch trials. And I think it's like a family saga type thing. So I'm really intrigued to read this. It's a debut novel as well, I think. It's quite a chunker, but I'm excited to give this a go. Next is another random pick from the book barn. That is The Hanging by Lottie and Soren Hammer. It's Danish crime fiction. That's really all I know about it. Oh yeah, this is why I picked it up, because the back of it sounds horrific. On a cold Monday morning before school begins, 2 children make a gruesome discovery. Hanging from the roof of the gymnasium are the bodies of 5 naked and heavily disfigured men. That was literally enough for me to pick it up, because that is how my brain works. Really intriguing cover. Never heard of the authors before. Just give it a crack. Next is a book that came back to me. Technically it's mine, but my mum was having a big clear out and found some books, and this was one of them, and that is Philippa Gregory, The Virgin's Lover. I reread The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory, I think at the end of last year, and just remembered how much I love her writing. This is about Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, and her court and the intrigue, and there's a love story in it, and I remember loving it like 15 years ago when I read it, so I'm excited to reread it. This copy is rather battered, but actually I think it kind of adds to the charm, and again it's a chunker because she writes big books. Then I have another classic that I'm going to be reading this month, and that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Again, it's such a cute edition. It matches my edition of Peter Pan. There were loads of them in Waterstones. What edition are you? It just says Penguin. I think it's the V&A. There we go. Like classic Penguin library. I've actually never read Little Women, which is probably a crime on Booktube, but I'm going to pick it up as my classic for June, and I'm really, really excited to get into it, and I just love this edition. I saw loads of editions online and couldn't find any that I really liked, and then I saw this and I was like, yes! Plus, I had Waterstone points, so it didn't even cost me anything. Winning! Okay, right, then I have 3 books that I got at the book barn, which was a random purchase. I have to admit that I purchased them because it's the full trilogy and they're all in the same edition, which just appealed to me, and that is the Millennium Trilogy, which starts with the girl with the dragon tattoo. I read that book on mine and Gary's first holiday together, which was like 6.5 years ago, but I never got on to reading the other 2, so I'm going to give them a go. I'm going to reread this one, and then it goes on to the girl who played with fire, and then the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. I don't really know what the story is of the sequels. I haven't watched the films, but I just saw them, and for £1 each, and they're these really nice editions. I was like, yeah, why not? So those are those, and then I've got another trilogy, which I bought this month, and if you see my wrap up, you will see that I absolutely adored Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne, which is part of the Spinster trilogy, which I bought, and I'm not sure which order they go in actually, so it might be a slightly different order. If you've seen that video, you'll know that I read Am I Normal Yet for Mental Health Thon because it was Nicole's pick for the host pick, and then I basically started it on my Kindle, got about halfway through, loved it so much that I bought the entire trilogy in physical form because I'm that easy to sway. So yeah, I'm excited for these. I know that Nicole's read the second one and we're going to buddy read the third one together, so I'm going to get on and read the second one. I'm not sure which one it is. Is it maybe this one? I don't know. I will look it up. I will read the second one this month and I'm really excited. And they're really fun covers. Like, so we've got Am I Normal Yet, which is this really nice black and yellow. There's How Hard Can Love Be, which is pink and black. And then red and black with What's a Girl Gotta Do. And I know there's also a novella as well that I will probably get around to reading again with these characters. So yeah, just really happy with those. And then the final book was another one that Amy was kind enough to give me, and that is the sequel to Caravel, which is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I read Caravel the month before last and had a bit of a weird reading experience with it because I didn't really like the characters, but something about the writing really hooked me in, so Amy's kindly lent me the sequel so I can read that and have a go. So yeah, so those are all the books that I have acquired recently. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of them, especially the random ones I don't really know that much about. Please let me know if you've read those and what they were like. And let me know what you've bought recently and what you're excited to read soon, and I will speak to you next time. See you later. Bye!